Start again. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, guys, to the Onetribe Podcast of 2021. The first one is back. We've got our special guest, Mica Nelson. Mica Nelson. All right, so Mica Nelson. I'm going to tell you something funny. I literally had probably, 8 minutes of content just before, and I hadn't pressed record, and that's why we're a little bit frazzled. But anyway, welcome to 2021. The Onetribe Podcast is back. I'm going to try to make a big effort to lay some content down once a month with the podcast because, I love doing it, and we'll try to keep it sort of away from the industry, but have people from the industry on. So first guest, Miss Mica. I met this girl 6 months ago along with the other half, Mr. Ash Galal. I reached out to him actually very early on because he wanted to find a new gym. We caught up in my gym and basically have all become friends since then. So that's when I met this one. And tell me about your background, Mish. Where are you from?
So I was born in the UK actually, and then I always forget that. And then I was 10. I moved to Australia. Yeah. So I grew up there, and then about almost 3 years ago in March, I moved to Dubai.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So when I first met them both, obviously Ash is from the UK, and I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" She's like, "Oh, the UK." I'm like, "You sound Aussie, you sound 100% Australian." But now you've just heard the background. So she moved early. Yeah. What is the heritage there? So
my dad's side is obviously got no blood, like no one's born in Australia or anything, so blood ties to Australia. But England, my mum's side also from England, but my dad's side's from Jamaica. So grandparents is from Jamaica, so it's the mix.
That's cool. So look, Australia being so diverse, and a lot of people, like I know when I moved out here all those years ago, like you tell people you're Australian, but then they look at you because we've got brown skin. They're like, no, you're not Australian. No. So it's very like common for us to explain. It's just like people go, oh, what's like in Australia? That's a common question. What's your background?
Yeah.
And you say,
in your country though, it's like, I guess it's like here, unless you're local. Most people will explain where they're from.
Well, exactly.
Even if you're from, like, you're born in Dubai, you're like, oh, but my family's from. Such and such.
Well, I find it even with the locals, like a lot of the locals, even being born here, they're mixed between, say, Iranian or whatever. So like the purebred locals, it's very a small, minute percentage of them out here left. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why they're so. It's so important to keep that bloodline strong, especially here in the UAE. So anyway, going to why I thought we should have Mica as our first guest this year. Mica's got an interesting background. So how I met her obviously was through Ash. He's a coach, obviously, in the industry. And I do understand you were between jobs when I first met you, right?
Yeah. So I like my bread and butter is radio.
Right. So she's a radio host here in the UAE. And go on.
So I came out here doing my first full-time job ever, which was in radio at one station. And obviously COVID struck. So, I mean, like everything in the world, everything took a hit. And, with radio, like if there's no sales, if there's no advertising, then obviously the station takes a massive hit. That's just the way the business works. Yep. So I was left with the option to like leave. So I did. Or like stay on, but nothing was guaranteed. And I've also got a background in like fitness, so I've got my certs in personal training, so I started to do that. I was doing a bit of personal training, and then recently I've kind of stepped back into the radio world. But I guess for me, like I've always done like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, like
bit of a hustler.
Since I was like 14, I've always had like 2 or 3 jobs. I've always just liked to spread my time in different areas. Well, this is the big reason why I actually got you on, and I sort of hinted on my Instagram last week while I was going to have you on, but meeting you first time on the gym floor, and we're in between jobs. Radio's your actual bread and butter, like you said. Entering the fitness industry as a female, having obviously your partner do the same thing. He's well established now in the industry, in my opinion, and trying something new. Now, let's go to that part of it. So you lost your job. COVID has sort of messed everyone around in terms of a lot of people have had to pivot. And, I don't like to use that word, but people have had to go, right, if you were switched on, you're like, I do this, but maybe I'll try this to make to make a living. Now
stepped foot into the industry.
Yeah.
Had you ever, I know you keep yourself fit.
Yeah.
You do your own training, but had you ever trained anyone or been on a gym floor as a trainer?
Yeah, so well, not personally like one-on-one. Obviously, I train friends and stuff, but it's a bit different when it's like a random person.
Business,
and actually, like a year ago, I was supposed to go and work as an instructor for like this rhythm riding studio.
Yeah.
But I mean, with rhythm riding, it's very physically demanding.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do this and that with the training and stuff. It just wasn't suited to me at the time. I mean, it's amazing. It's like it's amazing if you can do it as well. Like it's really, really hard. So it wasn't suited to me. So I was going to do that. So that was going to be my first, I guess, proper like experience in terms of coaching and structuring a workout. But I mean, I've always kept myself fit. I've always done like weight training, obviously training with Ash. I learned a lot from him. I've done martial arts, I've done swimming, I've done netball. So I've always been actively fit.
So you've dabbled in everything pretty much there.
Yeah. So I feel like when it came to training people, I kind of just relayed what I knew worked for me and what I'd learned as well. And like it's, you know, I definitely think I definitely have a newfound respect for personal trainers. Like it is a hard hustle. Like it's made to look easier than what it is, but it's a hustle, you know. If one client drops off, because of course if they get corona or anything,
absolutely,
you can lose like thousands.
And that's a good point, because you know, I've in my time here have had a lot of people say, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to do what you love as a job." And now I'll agree with part of that statement, but the other side to it is just like you're not training yourself all day. Like literally now, and you know, Ash and yourself can vouch for it. Like as a trainer, your own training, your own well-being almost comes last now, because you know if you're training clients 5-6 hours of a morning, the last thing you want to do, I know for myself, is train myself at the end of that shift. And then having to like stick around and then train people till like 9 p.m. Like it's you a lot of your energy is going to the people you're training, right? So it's not all about doing what we love because you're so lucky. We're making a living out of it. It is great that we get to do something that we're passionate about. But like you said, the hustle to fill up hours, and if someone drops off, to sort of advertise to get someone back. It's literally a 24/7 job, in my opinion. Like
definitely.
If you're got a hustle and you're good at it, you'll always be planning 4 or 5 steps ahead. You know what I mean? And that's what I do feel. So that's why I wanted to touch base on that with your experience coming from a stable income, stable job, now going into a job that nothing's guaranteed. How did you cope with that?
I didn't realize how privileged I was and what a blessing it was to come to the UAE in a job where I was getting a set salary every single month. You know, I was even getting live out, which was amazing. And I think, you know, you always think the grass is green on the other side, because the one thing is that when you're employed by someone else, you know, I think everyone here has to live and work with a visa. And I think there's always that fear of losing your visa. And, you know, I was obviously new to the country, so I had no idea, like, you could even get freelance visas. So for me, it was like, I didn't want to ever take a step out of line at work. Not that I intentionally did, but I was always worried about that. And I also thought, like, how am I going to be able to do anything else? But when you're a personal trainer, although you have, like, the freedom of having the independence of your own visa, you still have to, like, you know, I thought it was just crazy. Like, look, you know, the hours, obviously, like, they're sporadic. So you know, if someone gets sick, for example, and it happens, someone travels, that's a couple of K, you know, something, they don't want to finish their sessions, they don't want to renew, and then you're constantly prospecting. You know, I wouldn't say that I was on the same level at all as you, or even
but that it
Ash,
takes a while, man. It takes a long time.
Even to retain clients. You know, there's a lot of people that probably go through clients.
Oh, absolutely.
Retaining them and keeping them there. Because at the end of the day, you have to provide a service. So
100%. And like you say that there is levels. There is levels. And as much as like you can look the part, and, you know, I find it now, I've come on the other side of it where I'm, you know, closer to 40 than I was 20. You know, but in terms of my competition is only going to be myself going forward, because I can't compete with the 20-year-olds that look a certain way and they're just chiseled and they live in the gym. I'm not interested in doing that anymore. But at the same time, like you say, okay, well, I wasn't at a level. I know it's taken me 15 years to get to where I'm at.
Of course.
And that's I think, you know, that's where I think a lot of the young trainers, coaches have to realize it is time. You've got to put the time in.
I was naive because I had friends who, also I tried to, start a business, I would say, in the middle of a pandemic.
Absolutely.
So there's obviously less people because there's less disposable income. People have gone home. And so you're trying to still keep that standard of where, like, okay, this is what people should pay to respect the industry, but also, make a living.
To make a living. Exactly.
And less people have money. So less people are wanting to spend that. So then you've got people who are going lower than that.
Yeah.
It's a tough industry.
Absolute tough time.
Just really respect personal trainers on a whole other level, even keeping yourself physically fit, like you said. If you're in the gym for hours a day, last thing you want to do
is train yourself.
Train where you work.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part of it. Like you touched on it quite well. Was that during this year or last year, even for myself, I've got a good family of people that I train, so that sort of didn't worry me, but it did cross my mind. I'm like, even these people are losing jobs, or one half of the family is losing a job. So it makes you think, can I keep charging what I do, or do I need to bring my prices down just to keep everyone comfortable to say, all right, I've still got your guys back, but please have mine. So I'll drop my prices. And so you did, in my opinion, you needed to flex with the market. You couldn't be staunch and go, I charge 400 dirham and that's what I charge. You don't want to work with me. You're going to price yourself out of the market. You're going to have no work. They will go looking for cheaper. Right. So in saying that, you did try to step into a market at its lowest point.
Yeah.
But I also feel, looking from an outsider's perspective, that was a good, like, for years and years, Dubai's market has got saturated with anyone and everybody can be a trainer.
Yeah.
So it's only going to work against you when, all right, Misha's now a trainer, like, oh, here we go, another one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was always going to have that narrative with it.
Of course,
that anybody could have that. But at the same time, you've come out during the lowest point of sort of life and gone, Misha's going to be a trainer. And people are like, fuck. Like, that's a ballsy move, number one, because it's not a guaranteed job.
No,
But number two, you had to sell yourself even more than regular, because you can't ride the coattails of an industry that's thriving.
No,
it wasn't
of course.
thriving.
And it was, I definitely was like nervous. I'm not going to lie. Like, even posting, like, I think there's a way where you present yourself in the media and you're like, I'm a presenter, but then to present yourself in an industry, like, obviously I know what I can bring, and I know, like, the way that I train, but when you're also with people in an industry that have been doing it, like you said, for 15 years, and you step in, you're like a little goldfish again, so for me, and also, being with someone who's done it for so long, I don't know. I think I was just a bit like, felt it a little bit like nerve wracking, but I think it's with anything, like, unless you, if you don't try, then you never know.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
I was fortunate. I did like get clients, and I enjoy it. Like, I love training, especially like the specific training, like, oh God, this, that I do. Like, I like to do like heavy weights and stuff.
So you're more on the strength based of your training.
Yeah, I definitely like have enjoyed it for sure. And like, I think for me, it's definitely opened another chapter, exactly, in terms of
it's definitely
what I want to do.
Open doors for you, I think, as well, because seeing you sort of grow confidence wise, that was the biggest thing I sort of saw as an outsider, was your confidence grow on the gym floor. Now that also then opens doors for your next career, which is now you're back in the radio game, and you've been on air now how many weeks now?
So back at Virgin Freelance, which is amazing. So I've been doing that for, like, I think it's my last week this week, actually, for almost 5 weeks. But just when you said about confidence, it's funny because I think obviously radio, that's what I did. So that was like when I was within my power, that personal power, that personal growth. So when I stepped out of it, of course, like, it was like hard to find the power in something, completely different.
Exactly,
so it's interesting, like, being in radio, back in radio now, and then being in fitness, like, I definitely feel...
You feel more confident now?
Of course. Like, I still feel like with the fitness industry, there's so much to learn, I'm still like a baby.
You learn every day. Yeah. And that's, any good coach or trainer will tell you, you learn every single day. You learn how to, a lot of us can be stubborn and go, okay, this is what we do, and we're not changing it, but it's not the way to coach, right? Not in my opinion. You need to be very flexible with new ideas, old ideas, things that, may not work. But it also saying that, like, it brings a confidence when you can, as a coach, be coached.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's if you can't take advice, then
Yeah.
you're just in the wrong industry. You know what I mean?
That was the thing that I think I've noticed. I don't know if it's as an industry as a whole, but maybe with fitness, like maybe that people feel that there's a shame to have a coach when you are
100%,
a coach.
100%.
Like I give credit to my partner. Like
Yeah.
I learned a lot from
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
physically, even my like technique and the way that I live now. Like I, you know, even if I jump in a training session with him,
Yeah.
I'm like pushed. So obviously, I will take that
Yeah.
and I will apply it in my own way.
Absolutely,
Obviously, my clients can't do physically what I can
Yeah.
do.
But it's about
but they
the mental,
can do in
exactly,
terms of
yeah.
the technique,
Exactly.
the blueprint, then I can take that. And I think that, you know, as long as you're open to learning, and
Yeah.
whether that's through another trainer, whether that's through online, or whether that's through someone, you know, as a coach, there's people who, how do you get better if you're not willing to be taught?
But I also think, and I've touched on this like the last couple of weeks with myself. In my 20s, I coached a certain way. In my 30s, I'm coaching a different way.
Yeah.
My ego's gone. My ego left me. I don't coach with an ego anymore. And I see still on the gym floor, the 20-plus-year-olds coach with the ego.
Yeah.
Let me see my client squat, I don't know, stupid amounts of weight just so I can feel good rather than the opposite. And that still happens. And that's a part of the journey for coaches. I did it. I was there. And I see it going forward. Now, there's going to be a time where you dial that back and go, actually, you know, 1 RM of X it's not going to make a massive difference to that person's end game. Of
course, yeah.
Like for their confidence, it might on that day. But let's think longevity rather than just for now, you know what I mean? And that took me, you know, a good 10 years to get out of that space as well. So, you know, we've all been there, and it's part of growing. It's part of maturing as a coach in any industry. I guess that happens, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so I think your stint in being a PT, a coach, definitely grew your confidence.
Yeah, and open doors to other opportunities. You know, I've always loved fitness. I've always worked out. Like, I think I hate to say this when everyone's like, everyone who knows me, but like most people who do know me, my family, my friends know that I've always been active in sport.
Yeah.
So I guess this was just like the next step. And, you know, maybe it wouldn't have happened in the way it did if COVID hadn't happened, but it happened and I took the opportunity and I learned. And, you know, if opportunities come from this, then amazing.
Absolutely.
And if nothing were to come from this, that's okay, because it's just a chapter, you know?
100%. So
enjoy it, and that's life.
Now, rolling on, going forward, if you were to give advice to young trainers, and like now you've seen, you know, and especially let's talk to the females, because there are a lot of females, and I do see them from time to time, you know, the odds and ends come to on our gym floor, and you can tell it is a confidence issue. You can be body confident, that's one thing, but actually being confident about what you do is two different things, right? What advice would you give to young females going forward in terms of gaining confidence to sharpen their craft?
Okay, I mean, I just want to say, you know, I don't think I'm like personal trainer of the year. I don't think I have the credentials or the experience to be telling someone like, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. I think for someone starting, maybe someone starting off, I would say, you know, ask questions. Maybe see someone on the floor. If you see a personal trainer that you like their style, you know, there's nothing wrong with learning. Maybe they won't be willing to teach, because at the end of the day, it's a craft, you know, that's their technique. But I'd say find someone you're confident with who can ask questions to, you know, and I would say, be confident within yourself. You know your value and your worth, and, you know, set a rate, be understanding, okay, this is the rate that I'm willing to work at. Not everybody is going to work at your rate.
No, absolutely
there's
not.
going to be people that's going to be above, there's going to be people under, and everyone has an opinion. It's about finding where you believe you stand in the market. And I think just going with it, you know, putting yourself out there, you're going to get a lot of no's, you're going to get a lot of cancellations, you're going to get a lot of times people won't turn up. It's not a reflection of you. I always believe that sometimes it can be, I guess, if you're not a nice person or whatever, you're not doing a good job, it can also be a massive reflection of the economy. So just because someone's not willing to pay your rate, someone's not, you know, they're canceling, or, you know, you're finding it hard to get clients, it's not always a reflection of you. It's a reflection of the economy. That doesn't mean that your worth as a person or as a trainer is gone, because you can take it personally, but I just wouldn't take things personally 100%. Anymore. No, you know, I just, unless you're getting majority of your clients turning around and saying the same thing, then of course self-reflect. But we are in a very different time to what we were 4 or 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
So just be confident. Remember, don't take things personally, and just keep going.
That's good advice. And also, I think adding to that, because I don't feel, I could be wrong here, but for myself in my journey for 15 years here, there hasn't been enough mentors in our game.
Yeah.
And people who, like, I call myself now one of the elder ones in the industry, just because the landscape that I'm surrounded by. I don't feel like I had that here. It was the guys who were good kept it to themselves. They didn't really want to help the younger ones.
Yeah.
And if they did, they found it direct competition. So they try to take you out of the competition, where I feel things need to change here. And the ones who have got more experience help the younger ones, because you're not going to get work taken off. You're probably only going to do you justice and help you in terms of being a mentor. We need to guide the younger ones a little bit more, because I could learn from it. They'll definitely learn from it. And it's not about technique and stuff like that. Forget all that stuff. It's about literally business setup. See, because we've done it, and I'm not saying I've done it to like the T. I made so many mistakes trying to do it to get where I'm at now. And even now I could do things a lot better. But also the young ones are very switched on to this kind of stuff now. Their marketing, their social media, they're way better than I was at that age. So I think you can cross them over and both parties can learn from each other, but I think more needs to happen on that sense.
Even getting like friends, like I have a friend in the industry and she was so helpful. I'd ask her heaps of questions from the start, not ones that I would, because she's been doing it maybe a couple of years. So I feel like she had a fresher mind to what it was rather than somebody who's been doing it 15 years, because the game's completely changed from, 10 years ago or whatever. And she was so helpful. She actually referred clients to me, which was amazing. And even like again, just because you go for a consultation, if you don't get it, don't take it personally.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Like if I was going to go to a hairdresser and I wanted a certain color and I wasn't sure, or maybe that's not what I wanted, the same vision. It's not a reflection of It's just we just don't match up, and that's fine. But it's definitely learning and keeping an open mind, I think.
Before we leave this topic, just to go on, my advice for young train, I'm seeing it so much now, especially because of the pandemic we're going through and people are just trying to win work for the sake of winning work. What's your whole mentality on free sessions to get someone through the door?
I think I've never given a free session, a trial session. I can understand why someone would want a trial session if they were going to commit a certain chunk of money to a trainer and they weren't exactly sure. As a client, I can understand why they would ask. I don't think it's cheeky to ask, because I think
it's definitely not cheeky to ask.
Because if you go to some boutique studios, they'll be like, "Come for a free session," and then you go do a martial arts class, you go do this, and you're like, "I love it." However, I wouldn't go to the hairdressers, or I wouldn't go to a nail salon, I wouldn't go to a restaurant and say, "Can I have a free meal before I decide to dine here
absolutely.
again?" I think I wouldn't. Unless it was a special deal and, financially, you got to make business things. Okay, fine. But I wouldn't offer that as my first thing. I might say if you sign up for 10 sessions, you'll get your 11th free, but I wouldn't say come for a free session. And that's just me. You might be able to jump in with a friend if it's a friend of a friend, but I don't know. I haven't been in that situation.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I would, I'm just seeing it everywhere, especially online, first 2 sessions free and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, I guess, you touched on it before. Know what you're worth. If you sit down maybe as a consultation rather than a free session and get to know the person over a coffee for 40 minutes and talk, and that's where you're going to get personality. Actually, that's the biggest key here. Is I think the most successful trainers and coaches and businesses run purely on personality.
Yeah.
A squat's a squat, whether you're teaching it, I'm teaching it. We might have our different coaching cues. That's one thing. But again, lunge, squat, push up, it's all the same. Like it's a variant and it's done the same way. You can coach it in different mannerisms and explain it differently, but at the end of the day, it's all the same movement. Personality, in my opinion, is what gets you over the line. You need to understand your client base. You need to be able to read your clients when they're having a bad day or if they're having a good day, when to push, when not to push. You can't just flog a dead horse, and that's a very Australian saying, but you know what I mean? Like a horse, once it's dead, not going to run, unfortunately, you know what I mean? So you need to be able to read your clients, and they have to read you, like there's going to be points and times where you just don't want to be that mechanical coach, right? Do this, because your clients will get bored and the trust factor will slowly slip away, and then they'll go and find somebody else.
I think that obviously that's important, of course, but I think results, definitely. because I think at the end of the day, like if your client isn't getting results, then you're not providing the service. And I think
but not to go against what you just said.
People apart.
But I'm a massive believer the results aren't up to us as trainers. It's up to them. If they don't want to
that's true actually with diet and everything like
if I'm giving you 5 days of training and I'm giving you everything from my side, here's your generic diet plans, whatever. If I'm giving you everything and I'm meeting you halfway and I'm giving you the option to train 5 days and you're only turning up 2, whose fault's that?
No, but if they were training up 5 days and they were doing the diet,
100%.
Yeah.
So but that's the other thing too. I think a lot of trainers take it personally when, like, if your client not showing up, they've booked 12 sessions and they're only turning up to 6 each month.
Yeah,
it's not on you.
Yeah,
it's them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then don't let them turn around and say to you, "Well, I'm not seeing results." Like, it's like, motherfucker, you're not turning up to your sessions.
I always feel a little bit bad because I always think, like, for me, I like to work for my money and know that, like, that 100%. I provided the service. I think that's the only time I would ever take it personally, because I'm like, oh, well, now you're paying me and I'm not providing a service, and I always feel like that's uncomfortable for me. But I mean, it's the business. So,
but, okay, so just before we move on, what would your attitude be towards with someone like that? Would you be happy to drop them as a client?
I wouldn't drop them. I think at the end of the day, like, life comes up. If they're wanting to spend money and, they can't make it or whatever, I mean, everyone has their personal reasons, but they still want to train with you. I guess it comes down to whether or not you're willing to have a cancellation every couple of days, or it's a personal preference. Some people, if they think, okay, I can fill the spot and get more money or whatever, then it's fine. It's a personal thing. I mean, I don't take it personally. I think it's life, and I cancel on things all the time.
So that's where me and the sister differ, because I take it personally. I do, because I take it.
Yeah.
I'm doing my share of this agreement.
Yeah.
And you're coming to me saying that I'm not seeing results, but you drink every night. Fair enough. You're training.
I wouldn't excuse the results part. Yeah. If you don't eat well, you're not training, and then you want to complain that you're not getting results, and that's a personal thing. But if they're just, if they're still coming to training, giving 100%, they cancel every so often, but they're still paying you, then it's like, that's your personal. If you can fill the spot with someone else who's wanting to train, of course, everybody wants to enjoy their work, then go for it.
But this goes back to having, I think, a strict criteria as a coach. Know what you want from your clients. Then you will be able to find the clients that want to train with you. Not because it's very. I understand. I was the same at the start. It's very hard. You'll train anybody and everybody because you need to make a living. There needs to be a point where you need to filter who you want to train and go, right, old mate over there who's a casual gym goer, we won't gel. And we're not meant to gel with everybody as a coach. In terms of, I know what I want to train. You should know that I want to be with that coach because I want to be pushed in a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. Right, that's the best fit for me. I'm not going to have the 22-year-old who loves to go out 4 nights a week and turn up at 5 a.m. That's not going to work.
Of course. I think that's where, you can become specific in your training and you can attract a certain clientele. I think that takes a few years. Like I said, I'm still very much a newbie to this industry. So that's why I don't feel like I have a world of knowledge. I have for people starting up maybe or thinking about getting into it. But I think when you've been in it for a long time, then it's my opinions are always going to be very different, And like I said, 5 years from now, I might be saying completely different things. So
I think if any newbies are watching this as coaches and as members, know what you want. You wouldn't go to a car dealership and go, "Oh, give me whatever," because it's not the way that works. You could just walk out with a piece of shit as a car, and it's the same in the industry. Like, I think coaches need to go, right, do a little bit more filtering in what your coaching style is, because if you've got someone who is a mum and, she's 40 years old and all she loves is circuit work and she's coming to, say, train with Ash, she's going to get the shock of her life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not going to work.
No.
And 2 things are going to happen. 3 or 4 sessions in, someone's going to tell someone to get fucked straight up. Like, this is not for me. And whose blame is that? Well, I should have done my research on what that person wanted and vice versa. So from a coach's perspective, put out there what you want to attract, I guess. And I guess that's anything in life. If you're a certain way, you'll attract the people that want to work with you, etc. All right, now moving on. So you dabbled in the PT world, the coaches world. You got through that. I think doors opened for you because of that. You're back on radio now.
Yeah.
You also, a big passion for you is music.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's touch on that. So you're a radio presenter.
Yeah.
And aspiring DJ.
Well, definitely on the aspiring part. Obviously I did your fitness.
Yeah, so we had her come and do our beatbox class. It was good. I thought it was good. Yeah. It was just more of a, I wanted to experiment with what a live DJ would be in class, and I think it was a good vibe, even though with COVID and stuff we didn't have many people there, but it still, I think, worked. She played an awesome set. I just said, look, play a hip-hop R&B set, and I'll let you just do it, gauge the crowd, blah blah blah. So tell me about that part of your life. And
well, that's obviously been very much a work in progress. I'm really fortunate. Like somebody I used to live with out here, housemate, she's a DJ here. She's amazing. Like incredibly talented, incredibly gifted. And to be honest, I don't think there's many or any female DJs that play with her. Like I think like her, I think she's like a whole brand, you know, like in terms of the image, the music that she plays. So I was really fortunate.
Do you want to give her a shout out in case
people want? Official.
There you go.
So she's amazing. So I was really blessed that she actually took the time to teach me. Actually during lockdowns when we were allowed to have those little only hang out with this kind of people coming. So she did that.
But this goes back, and sorry to go back to it. This goes back to a mentor style relationship. Like she didn't need to, like she's where she's at, and she's like, all right, well, I will teach you the basics and get you going, and then obviously,
I have to say there are not many females in any industry that do that. Because, even in radio, I've had more male mentors, except for female bosses, than I've ever had female mentors. I don't know what it is.
Why do you reckon
I don't know
that
why it is. I think that unfortunately as females, we are almost programmed to believe that like other women, yes, they are a competition, but instead of like a man is like, well, if he comes first place, he's physically better, or he's just more intelligent than me, and he's just number one. Women, it then becomes personal. So instead of looking at the talent as to why she's number one, it becomes, well, why is she? Oh, because she looks like this. It must be because she acts like this. It must be because it becomes like they try and pick people apart. And it's sad because, I think that that's not all women. I think that the industry is trying to change that. So we do kind of uplift each other. There is a sense of like, I don't know what it is. It's sad. But anyway, she taught me. And so it's really amazing to see someone like that lean back. And like help someone else.
Yeah.
So
I do see you on your Instagram that you go and support her like on the weekend.
I also like learn, like, how are you going to learn if you don't listen? So I'm really grateful for her. So that's still like a work in progress. To me, it's like the music and everything like that. And it's been a journey. Like it's definitely, I've made some mistakes in terms of like how to download, and like I'm not that tech savvy as well. So,
but it's all a part of the process.
I've made some tech mistakes. Like just like headache stuff. But I feel for me, I don't learn unless I go through things like that. Even with radio, like
that's life.
There's been some really terrible mistakes that I've made, and like shocking things, but if I don't do that, then I don't learn. So that's definitely for my 2021 goal, is to like be able to do DJing, and not just, I'm very like adamant, I mean maybe I need to let my ego go a little bit, and not being a play DJ, which is basically turn up, you just go songs that just match,
absolutely music,
and you leave. Like I believe the amount of hours, the same for personal training, same as any profession, the amount of hours and practice that I put into radio, I respect that I've done that. So I have to believe someone else has done that for DJing, someone else has done that for personal training. So therefore, to respect the craft, of course, if you want to learn the craft for the skill set, you have to put in the same amount of hours. But,
in music, like I've mentioned to her my background in music, and I grew up around it, playing, etc., etc. I was always taught, especially when we were playing like live gigs, etc., was play to the crowd, for the crowd, and get the energy. Obviously, like as a DJ, you want to set list, and things can change over the night, and I'm not going to go with this, I might go with something else. But that also crosses over, I feel, in everyday life. If you need to literally, switch during a day on what you're doing or the hustle that you're going, because it's what life is asking for. I guess it's the same as a DJ set, right?
I mean, I haven't, like I said, I'm not I'm very much aspiring. So I mean, that's what I've been told. Like, I've been told from my friend, sometimes she'll say like, this person can't make it, you need to change your set. And you've got a couple of hours to change a whole set around, which obviously is a different timing, is a different vibe, different energy. You know, you get clients coming to you for events. So I've been told that they want R&B and then they want AC/DC in the mix. So then it's like you have to find a way to mix your genres. But I think that's from some of the DJs that I listen to here, the ones that I specifically listen to, you can tell when they know. They really know what they're playing, the way that they're playing, versus someone who just turns up, plays. I mean, that's no disrespect, because at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like if I wanted to just be a play DJ, I could. I think that it's not necessarily the case where I can't put a playlist together, but I think in terms of the skill set, knowing that like I know my music, the way that the keys match, you know, it's taken me extra time. Absolutely. But I'm okay with that, because I mean, that's it. Like, if you love something and you want to work for it, then you have to put in the time and the effort, you know. I'd rather do it when I'm ready and when I'm capable, rather than, you know, just doing it. I think there's a difference between when people feel like they're not ready but they're capable versus when they're not ready and they're not capable. So I'd rather feel not ready because I'm nervous and capable, versus I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to turn up, because, you know, it's also like disheartening on yourself.
100%.
I've done it with radio, you know, I pushed myself with radio, and, you know, I mean, I probably wouldn't be where I was if I didn't push myself. But at the same time, I'm like, I didn't need to do that way. Yeah. Again. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, where do you see yourself in, say, let's say the year goes to plan, things start opening up, 2021. Yeah. Where do you see like that side of your life? I mean,
I would love to, you know, I'm still about building the journey. I think events obviously are like a privilege, and I would love to be able to do that, like down the track, to someone to be like, yeah, I want Mica to play, or like, I love the way that she sounds. Like, but I know that comes with experience. So, you know, I'd love to be able to do like you know, have a set time at a set place for, and I'd be able to have that experience, like find my sound.
Just like a residency somewhere.
And create it. Yeah. I mean, I think like residencies are like quite, you are literally there every week. So whether it be like a residency at somewhere low key, like I'm not thinking like I want to be at like the biggest
No, of course you got to start somewhere.
Right now, like I just want to find, you know, where I am in the industry and then build on that, you know, and I think that's it. That's enjoying the journey. So,
so if anyone's watching this and, you know, I do know a few people like in the nightlife industry, and you could use some new female talent, hook the sister up, give her a shot. You know, I mean, that's what the biggest thing I think in this city is that it's hard. People try to get their foot in the door, but nobody wants to give somebody a shot.
Of course. I think that's it. But I think that's what comes with confidence, and, you know, like anything, like you're going to get a lot of no's. Like I know already I've got so many no's, but if you want it and you believe in yourself, and if you believe in yourself, you want it, and you're willing to work for it, you can make it happen.
100%. You've got to get yourself in the door.
You have to want it and be willing to work for it. Be willing to put in the hours. Be willing to feel like, you know, the average because you can't get the job done or something like that. Yeah.
And that, look, she just said all the right things, is that none of this shit comes easy. Like to have a good client base, or have a residency coming up, or just to have that life the way you want it, you need to work for it. And that's the biggest thing to take out of that conversation is, unless you're willing to put in the hours and the graft, you're not going to get success. It doesn't come. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You might have those people who are lucky enough to get a contact there, and then, you know, but it's always going to feel better if you've gone and done it yourself, and, you know, rely on yourself and not others. I think it's the biggest thing, especially here in Dubai, is that, you know, a lot of people will talk a good game, and then when you actually ask for the help, it's never there, which is the unfortunate part. And I hope that stigma does change, because we've got to all start helping each other. You know what I mean? Like even doing things like this.
Everyone's learned from someone. I don't think there's any shame in admitting that you've learned from someone. Absolutely, you know, I think I'm constantly trying to learn, you know, and I think, like, I guess at the end of the day as well, you've got to be careful that you don't copy someone, because what works for them doesn't necessarily work for you. I think that's also a thing, is that people struggle.
Have your own flavor.
I've spoken to people who struggle with, you know, they'll start something and then they'll get a bit uncomfortable because other people will start copying them. But I think that's just the way people see through that. Like, I think staying original, it's hard because sometimes you feel like people don't see you, understand you. But I think as long as you're true to yourself and you're authentic and you believe in yourself, then, like, you know, you'll develop your own following, you'll develop your own supporters. And I mean, it's, you know, I think it's hard not to compare, but you might, I think, look in admiration rather than comparison.
Well, that was well said. And it's a good segue into my next little topic, which...
Take it away.
Yeah. obviously we've gone through the coaching, we've gone through the music side of your life.
Yeah.
And you said it's hard not to copy other people because you've seen it work for them.
Yeah.
Now, as a female in both industries, what can you suggest? Because it's hard as a young female as well. Is that you think you should look a certain way, you think you should act a certain way because you see online it is working for somebody else.
Yeah.
What can you suggest now? And I say obviously you're still growing as a female, but you do see it. I feel on the other side of it, you're not the one that. And don't get me wrong, you're not the one that does care when they walk on a gym floor. You're very like, I'm going to go and do my own thing. I don't need to keep up with the 6 or 7 females that are sitting in this gym, etc. Which I find is awesome, and that's your personality.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to the girls who, are spending money on expensive gym outfits just to fit in around their surroundings?
It's very easy. Like I've been caught up in that before plenty of times. I think that you have your life lessons financially, people you surround yourself with. I think that I've just learned that what someone's journey for someone else's journey and experiences and opportunities are for them, and you will have your own as well. But as long as you're trying to copy them, you're not going to get your own. You know what I mean? You have to stay within your power, find where you thrive, find where you feel most confident, and just run with that. And it's going to be trial and error. I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at other people. Like, I look at my friend who's a DJ and I'm like, wow, I love the way she dresses. I love the way that she does. And I think, let me look at that and think like, maybe I could try style my clothes a bit like that. But I find my own style, But I mean, I was 28 this year. And, my other housemate, I felt like I live with like a little power tribe. She's like her name's Simona. She's a very like amazing hairstylist here. And she's very good at her craft as well. And, she explained to me, she found it difficult remaining with her own style and not being copied. And that's very hard when you are, that is a pure
that's
form
what
of
you're making
art,
money from. Exactly.
But for example, like I surround myself with women who are authentic and believe in themselves. And I think that's rubbed off on me a lot, like my hair about 2 years ago was dead straight, dead straight. I literally took me 27 years to wear my hair curly.
But is that because
even the way that I eat, even my body type, like I didn't eat as much because I was always surrounded by people who were slimmer, maybe a little more like a white culture in Australia. So I felt like I naturally wanted to be more like them because you want to fit in.
Right.
And then I realized I'm me, so I'm just going to be me and just do me, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot less expensive and a lot less damaging for my body.
That's where what I was hoping you would say. It was I've been a culprit of it. You sort of get lost in the people that you surround yourself around sometimes, and you think you need to look a certain way, especially in this industry. It is the sick side of the industry where people, do certain things just because they need to feel like if they don't do it, they're not going to be liked in their circles. I found the more I pulled away from that is when I had more success because I started to find out who I was as an individual rather than modeling myself around the people around me. You just hit a good point, was that surround yourself on people who are going to empower you rather than bring you down. Like that's what you want, because that's how you grow. That's how you get your best ideas. And that's, for me, sitting around a table of people who can bounce ideas off and that people aren't scared to share ideas and share thoughts is where the best business is done.
I'm very specific with the people that I surround myself with. And that's not to say that I'm like, oh, you can't hang out with me. There was a time when I would, I give my time to people. I would never, if someone's like, oh, can I, they wanted to conversate with me. Absolutely. I don't believe in being like, no, but in terms of accessibility, that's something that I've learned. Just because you give someone your time doesn't mean that they should have instant access
absolutely,
to you.
Absolutely.
I feel like everyone should have boundaries. And I think there's people in my life who I thought would be in my life forever, and the universe moved them out in a very natural way, and it's moved amazing people around me who have helped me thrive and believe in me, and I can like push it back. And I really do feel like majority of people I have in my life now, I don't doubt their intentions. And I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who aren't going to be they're going to challenge you. Like there's the people who will literally tell me, I don't want to hear it,
Yeah.
but they'll tell me because that's the truth.
It's constructive, yeah.
Yeah, and like sometimes you're like, damn, I wish you would just say yes or like disagree with me. But I think that's not the life. That's not well.
No, it's absolutely
not.
So, you don't go from it. And that that's exactly what I think. It's hard. It's hard being young and trying to find that because when you're young, everyone's sort of trying to move a certain way, and like if you don't do this, I won't be liked, and if I, things like that. So, but it's like as you said, you're 28 now. You've seen it on the other side. You see it on this side.
I'm a grown woman. I'm still growing. Growing.
We all are.
But I just think like I got tired.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think like my early 20s. I mean, I remember I worked in a retail store and all these girls would wear all these outfits and they always looked so good. And it just wasn't me. And I remember I spent so much of my pay trying to buy the clothes. And I looked at it and I was like, this is all trash to me. Yeah. Like this doesn't mean anything to me. Like this material stuff doesn't, I'm not a, I've got friends who are quite brandy and I love that about them. One of my friends actually taught me, she's like, you can indulge and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I can, but I still they don't hold any weight with me. And that's fine. I can enjoy it without feeling like this brand has something over my head.
Yeah,
or,
absolutely.
Like I'm not that type of person, and that's okay. We don't all have to be one way.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think even with the workout clothes, like, I mean, wear what fits you and what makes your body look good. If you feel good in it, then like who cares what brand's on it, to be honest.
Absolutely. As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
And
And she'll probably add to this, but in all of this, doesn't matter what avenue you're like, it's finding that happiness in what you do. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to do that. It takes a long time to stop keeping up with the Joneses. And it also, once you find that good balance, that's I think what life is. You know what I mean? Having that balance and having that
differently.
Absolutely.
I look at pictures. I have these passport photos of like where I was a year ago in my other job. And I'm grateful for that experience. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I learned a lot. Yeah. Everyone has to, in radio or media, anything, you always have to be in a situation where like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I got through that. Yeah. And I look at passport photos from like, I took from back then to halfway through the year to now. And it's like, I don't mean to say like I've just got better, but oh my gosh, my eyes glowing, my skin is glowing, my hair is thriving. I look back and I'm like, I look like I was ready to run someone off the road in those photos. Like I looked crazy. I looked like wild. And now I'm like, I just look like rested and happy. And
it's because you met Ash. I got your back, brother.
Oh, shut up. Back. No, he's always going to sneak his way into the podcast.
I got your back. I want to have him. I actually want to have him on in a couple of weeks, actually.
You probably wouldn't even say my name. And I am the head that turns him.
I want to get his perspective because he'll talk about him for a little bit. I actually put up an IGTV last week about relationships in this city. And I spoke about my past and my background and how having or trying to work on a relationship while you're in the industry is hard enough.
Yeah.
But then having your partner doing the same job as you, like that's almost a relationship killer sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just briefly speak about how that was for you. Was it testing or was
I
it
definitely have to give him some credit, to be honest, because I had a couple of months when I wasn't working and I was just chilling. And during lockdown, you come out of lockdown. So you're together all the time anyway.
Yeah.
You come out of lockdown and then one of you's going to work all day. You come home and the other person's there. And they're like, you're still here. I'm like, I'll go out and stuff during the day and stuff like that. So I feel like for someone, he never once kicked up, like, can I have my space? But I have learned, like, I really value my space. I'm the type of person that, like, if I don't hang out with you, don't take it personally. I'm just doing my own thing. If I want to go somewhere, I'll go somewhere. I don't need my friends or anyone to do it. I've always been like that. And he's quite a similar character. So I've definitely, have a newfound respect for him. Like, he's very patient. And with the personal training thing, like, he was really supportive and, like, understanding. I think he is a tough human being in general, very tough love kind of person. So he'll tell me straight. And even now, like if I'm doing something wrong personally, like instantly correct. I think you always, as a female, like you trust your partner, but at the same time you're like, are you trying to tell me what to do right now? And then that's when it gets a little bit of tension and they're like, I'm trying to help you. And you're like, I didn't ask for it. I think that's most women if they train with their partners or even men if they train with their partners. But I mean, at the gym, like at the end of the day, like he's a I consider myself, I'm working, he's working, so respect the boundary. I mean, we're not overly
of course not.
affectionate
Absolutely
in
not.
person anyway.
Yeah.
Lucky to get a hug out of him sometimes, but and I think for him, like, I'm fortunate to have him in Dubai because he's been here such a long time. And I think with the fitness industry, but even like the fact that his previous work history in media, he's done international stuff. He understands it on a global scale, maybe not to the same the same radio presenting, but he sees it globally. So sometimes he's like, Misha, like, it's just one thing right now in this place. Like, like the world keeps spinning, the world keeps turning. So to have that insight and to have someone who kind of like looks out for
awesome,
you. Yeah, I'm fortunate.
That's really good. That's awesome. So look.
That's all he's getting. No more compliments, nothing.
No more mentioning his name until I've got him on the podcast.
He's gone too.
No, it's good because like I did touch on it. Like it hasn't worked for me in the past. But at the same time, as I got older, I learned to because I'm very strong-headed. So it was if I was giving advice, it wouldn't sound like I was giving advice. It was like I'm telling you to do this way. You know what I mean? So I get it. I do. I now see it on the other side of it. So I was just touching that on my.
I'm very resistant. So I will say this, but I don't act like this. Like I'm very. I mean, like my dad will say, like I haven't done what I've been told in 27 years. So it's. Yeah, I like to learn my own way. That's the thing. I like to have my own experiences. I will listen, I respect, but I will still probably do it anyway and then come back and be like, oh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Told you so. Yeah, exactly. But no, that's good. That's good to hear that, like, it does work. Because I had a couple of messages saying, I wasn't being critical on the whole industry to industry relationships. I was telling it from my side, like, I've had it, didn't work, but at the same time, I had it when I was very, very young, and I thought everything that I was doing should be done that way. When fucking hell, like looking back now, absolutely not. So, I think that's awesome that you guys can see it for what it is. It is, and like you said, it is a job. You try to leave it on the floor. Don't bring it home with you.
Just two people create, two individuals coming together and creating one space.
That's awesome.
That is our relationship. That's just what I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right, wrap it up. So. Where do you see things going for yourself in the next 6 months?
With radio, hopefully more work, more on air time. And just, I'm a type of person like now, 2020 was survive.
Yep.
I would like to see 2021 as a year to thrive. So I'm going to, just work on everything that I was working on before, but then take action with it. I feel like I built up a skill set. So now it's about, applying it.
Yep.
Leaving ego behind, because that's not easy to do when you have a standard. I'm quite perfectionist in things that I do, and I want to be a certain standard, but people up here because they've done this. You can't just go straight up there, so I have to make these little mistakes. I have to do things that are wrong, and just
very well said. 100%.
That's life, and you just got to
climb the ladder.
Enjoy the journey. If anything, this year is like last year's for us. Enjoy what you have. If you have, like, you're healthy, you've got enough, you've got shelter, you've got food, everything else is a luxury. So enjoy 100%. It, and I think it's about being really grateful every single day. Like, I'm not particularly religious, but I am spiritual. Like I pray every day and just grateful to be alive.
Have the gratitude there, eh? Gratitude. So I think you're right. It's bang on. Like a lot of us take, especially our lives in Dubai, take it for granted, like the small things. So, last year should have opened a lot of eyes for people and said, fuck, like when it gets ripped away from you, that's when you say, oh, I miss these things. So, I mean,
country's not letting us back in the country.
No, we can't even get home, man.
To be in a country that is allowing us to stay here, imagine if they turn around and like, what? We're only going to have this percentage of expats because this is going on. Like this, Australia, unfortunately, like I know a lot of people who are stranded overseas at the moment, people who are stranded here. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking because it's like you can't even get into the country that you were born and raised in.
Exactly.
And you might have property there, you might have other family there, and they're literally saying no. So to be here, I'm so grateful.
100%.
I'm so
100%.
Grateful
we're able to still make a living. We're not in a shutdown. You got to be extra careful out here.
I just respect. I've never had more gratefulness. I think that's
definitely. No. Definitely.
For this place ever than before.
Definitely. So, girls, young females, entrepreneurs, etc., etc. If you're listening today, this is the reason why I got her on. She's dabbled in everything. She is at an age now, I think, that she knows what she wants, like we've heard. And perfect words were climb the ladder. Don't try to get to the top straight away. the top will come. The mountain, needs to be climbed. So you need to do that. You need to put in the work. This is life. It's hard graft, and the harder you work, the results will come. So let's see. If you want to listen to tonight's your last night, right?
No, this week.
Oh, this whole week, right? So what time are you on? Because I heard you on the radio. 7 till 10. If you're in the car from there, listen to her. You'll be able to pick up the accent straight away. It's quite awesome knowing somebody and then hearing it on air. And I said this to you the other day, you're very seamless. Like, I thought it was
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not a professional in what I do, but in terms of, it's awesome to hear. And you go, well, fuck.
Time. Yeah. I think I'm fortunate right now as well to be in a company where there are so many amazing people to learn from.
Yeah.
Like, again, mentorship.
Absolutely,
that's it.
Yeah.
Constantly learning.
And that's the other thing too, guys. Like,
open your eyes open and just be accepting for advice. Like, I mean, obviously, if it's coming from the right people in the right place, but that's how you're going to learn.
And I would love this year to be about that, more collaborations with people, more like just getting together. Because in this industry, it's a very lonely industry when you are a coach. People come to you, but then leave in terms of like, well, let's use you for your whatever it is you do, and then they leave. And then you're stuck like, oh, where do I get my inspiration, motivation from? You know what I mean? So I'd love to.
Gratefulness.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I'd also love to like sit with other coaches or other people in the industries just to shoot the shit. You don't need to be working together to have that creativeness flow. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you want to hit her up, I'll have her IG profile and stuff in the link. So I think the more creative collaborations this year for me anyway would be awesome, and starting off here. So Mish, thanks, buddy.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
your time, and thanks, guys. This was probably about a 50-minute one. I hope you've tuned into the whole thing. If not, fast forward the interesting points, and let's.
It was all interesting.
And I hope to be doing these once a month anyway with new guests. So, and I hopefully have her fella on the next one and talk everything strongman, etc. He's the big bloke. So, thanks for tuning in. Onetribe Podcast. Coach Naka, Mica Nelson.
Thank you.
We're out. Peace.